We began this initiative about 14 years ago, and we, at the very beginning, were very passionate about conserving the environment, especially the part of this world that has been devastated by the twin challenge of, number one, rapid deforestation because of burning of charcoal, and when they were done with burning of the trees, they then began harvesting maram on the hill, and when the maram looked like it was becoming less, they then now embarked on sand harvesting. So there's a river Kibos is behind here, and we were very keen on bringing back the glory of this area by conserving or by returning to its former glory, the riverbanks. As you all know, the rivers have been historically very important. If you look at most of the civilizations historically, if you look at the Sumerian civilization, if you look at the Nile Valley, if you look at the river Euphrates and Tigris, a lot of civilizations began on rivers. So rivers have played a very important part in civilization. And the decimation of this river has affected both the natural and the grown forests. So we began this initiative 14 years ago. This was one of those degraded areas. We have been very persistent. We have tried to grow the trees, as you can see. We have we tried to grow a lot of whistling pine, and pine is good because it is used in mostly in quarries to replace lost nitrogen in the soil. In the course of doing this conservation, as you can imagine, we thought that the community would not only laud the work, but also, pick this as an example and maybe even replicate it. But what we've realized now is that this has now gotten to a point where we have come in direct conflict with those that are getting an income from this practice of sand harvesting. And we will go down and see the level of degradation. In fact, it has gotten so bad that the sand harvesters literally dig holes right up to the road, and people just realize when the road has sunk. We have also specifically planted the bamboo tree along the river, and this is to help with the protection of the riverbank, so that when the river expands during a heavy rainy season, that the soil is not washed away. We have tried to plant trees or tree species that protect the riverbank, as well as manage the human-wildlife conflict, because we planted a bit of snake repellents like the rosemary, like the snake plant, and we've also planted a lot of the tropical plants that thrive well in the sand, like coconut trees, palm trees, travelers palms, royal palms, and these are very good because they thrive in sand and they hold the soil together, and they help us with, especially the soil erosion on the riverbanks. If you look behind me, you will see patches of the hill that are of different color. So the natural color of the hill should either be the rock or the trees, which is green, or sort of a silverish color. But if you look behind me, you will see that part of the hill has brown patches, and those brown patches are areas that the maram has been harvested. So the hill is being dug out for maram. The maram harvesting came after the hill had been devastated of trees. So if you look behind me, you'll see that the hill looks very bare. And yet this hill used to have thousands of trees. This is a purely tropical climate. With a lot of rainfall on the windward side, a lot less rainfall on this side, but a lot more rainfall on the other side, meaning that is why we have a lot of rivers here. So this place has the potential of being like a paradise. And those hills were full of trees, but the trees have been decimated by charcoal burns. And after the charcoal burning was done, then you can see now the brown patches, that is where now banana is being harvested. And it is clear to see, that even the areas that have not been conserved, with the continued sand harvesting, you find that when it rains and rains heavily and the river expands, then you can see a lot of erosion, a lot of mudslides, and that also leads to loss of property. At one point, sand harvesters even dug, a tunnel to the road, to the main road serving this area. And it was only realized, the community only realized, when it rained and water collected, on top of the tunnel, and the tunnel gave way. We did not do any magic. What we did was we simply decided to specifically focus on conservation of a previously sand harvesting riverbank. And if you can see the difference, you can not literally see the difference of what 10 to 15 years can do. Meaning that had we acquired a much bigger property along the riverbank, and we had done the same thing but on a much larger scale, we'll be talking about, thousands of lives saved. What we are saying is, it is not rocket science to conserve this riverbank. All it requires is, us increasing the number of champions, increasing the number of people who can actually dedicate their lives to passionately thinking and doing conservation.
I am Nixon, a police officer within Kajulu, Gita. We have been receiving reports and complaints about sand harvesting, illegal sand harvesting within this area from members of this area, and in particular the owner of this place. He has made several reports. We have come to this area not once, not twice. We have found illegal sand harvesters along the edges of this land. We have tried to talk to them, but their main issue was that is their main source of living, and it is difficult for them to live or to stop, not owing to the fact that they are making the environment to be unsafe for them, because they have eroded the land. Now, the main challenge, even when we arrest them, they will still go to court and they still come at the same place. So if there is a way to make them understand, or to have an alternative means of living, or to get their source of living other than degrading the land, maybe that will be the main avenue to save the environment.